Come in.
Hi, Dana.
Dana, that's me.
Christina Talarico with 3M. Nice to meet you. Do you mind if I take a seat? Thank you so much. So I have my business card for you. Do you happen to have one for me?
Sure.
Thank you. Whew.
Here you are.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be honest with you. When Casey Mitchell over at St. Germain set up this meeting, I was a little distracted because it was right after the Super Bowl. Did you watch the game?
I did not.
You did not? Well, I'm a huge football fan, so it was a big deal in my family. And I'm actually a Buffalo Bills fan. I'm from Buffalo, New York.
Sure.
And I don't know if you know this, but this year the Bills ended a 17-year playoff drought, which is an incredible feat. They haven't made the playoffs for most of my life. And my family and I, we were so excited when they were able to do that, that we road tripped all the way down to Jacksonville. We got our crazy face paint on and crazy outfits. And even though we didn't win, it was a ton of fun. But when Casey was telling me a little bit about Crest Build, I couldn't help but compare you guys to the Bills. You guys both accomplished something amazing this past year. The Bills making the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. And you guys had a net revenue of $200 million, which is an impressive stat. Could you tell me a little bit more about what it was like to achieve that?
Well, I didn't see all that money, so.
You didn't see all that money? Well, hopefully we can get you to see some more of that. All right.
I gotta ask her, where's Chuck?
Sorry?
Chuck, my previous rep.
I'm sorry, could you tell me a little bit more about Chuck? I'm not familiar with
You
him.
don't know Chuck?
I don't know, I'm sorry.
Chuck is like the all-knowing.
The all-knowing Chuck. Oh, well, I am new. I've only been here for 18 months, so he might have been promoted or something. But I'll be sure to check in with Chuck and see if he has any, needs that he knows you have. And I'll be sure to check with him along the way.
Yeah, I gotta find Chuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you find Chuck, that'd be great.
Okay, I'll definitely, after this meeting, reach out to Chuck and see if we can work on this together.
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Do you feel comfortable moving forward?
I mean, I'm here to listen to what you gotta say.
Yeah, okay, great. So Casey Mitchell over at St. Germain gave me a blueprint of one of your washing machines, which is very impressive. We were very impressed with it. And I also brought along my own blueprint of how I'd like this meeting to go. I'm going to use this to identify any needs you might have and see if 3M has a possible solution.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Sure.
Great. So as we get started, does anybody else need to be in this meeting today?
If they did, I didn't know about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if we meet today and decide that 3M and Crest Build want to partner, what qualities would you look for?
Well, frankly, I wouldn't make that decision. A production manager, Alex, would.
Okay, Alex, so you're just kind of here to get a sense of me, get a sense of the product I'm bringing?
Yeah, because I'm a hands-on guy. I'm an engineer. So.
Great, hands-on. I like to hear that. So if we do decide that it was a great product and you send me up the river to Alex, what would be the timeline in implementing the product if you guys decide to bring it on?
I can't tell you about the timeline in terms of execution, like in order, contracts and those kind of things.
Okay.
But again, I'm more so to hear what you have to say in terms of how your solution could work for what our troubles are. So,
okay, sounds great.
Yeah, so I mean, to answer your question directly, that's an Alex question.
All right, that's an Alex question. So I know you're the design engineer here, but what does your day-to-day look like? Because I'm a salesperson, I know nothing about design engineering.
Sure. A lot of trial and error.
Trial and error.
A lot of idea gathering. And as an engineer, you definitely try new things, but you have to come up with those ideas before you even try them out.
Yeah, I noticed on your website that Crest Build is really big into innovation. Have you tried to implement any new things into your design to make it the most innovative that it can be?
Yeah, one of the projects I'm toying with right now is, are you familiar with Amazon?
Yes, I am.
Are you familiar with the Amazon Dot, like the Echo Dot?
Yes, actually I am. I just got one in my house the other day. I love it.
Great. I've had one for now maybe 10 months. It's a genius piece of product, and so I'm trying to find a way to somewhat integrate it in the machinery that we put together.
Okay.
To where we don't have as many buttons on the device and be able to say something, to give it some level of command and have it follow through with what you told it to do.
Okay.
In terms of washing clothes, so you say, wash
my colored load,
whatever.
wash my white load.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea. So what would be those steps in, taking it to Amazon and you as a design engineer, what would you have to do to implement that?
I mean, in the beta phase, you just strap an Amazon Dot to it and see if you can get the machine to receive signal from it.
Okay.
Follow the instructions. So, from the back end is just trying to connect those two worlds, to get those two environments. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of like AI, like artificial intelligence, and then match it to the machine to execute the task. So
Okay.
so right now it's more beta again.
So,
Long term would be, it would be great if it would be built in the machine.
okay.
But right now it's just to strap it on and see what
Great.
happens. Yeah.
So we're still in the beta testing there.
Yeah, sure.
But earlier you mentioned trial and error. So you as a design engineer, what have been some of your errors that you would have to go back and fix to, improve your product? You want Pressbuild to be at the forefront of the
Sure.
industry. So what are
Sure.
those things you look for?
So anytime you have in our business what we call rejects,
Mm-hmm.
where some of the product doesn't stand up to the way we had designed to stand up. An example for you, so you understand, is having metal being fastened down to where it splits plastic.
Okay.
So there's a failure in terms of the plastic. Anytime you have a failure like that, we have to reject that product or reject that process. And right now we have about a 5% reject rate, which is higher than I'd like,
Mhm.
because it's not perfect.
Yeah.
And so anytime you have that issue, you run risk of having the product itself, not do its part, and then you have warranty issues also. So you don't want that there would be an issue.
Okay.
So in other words, 5% reject. If we were to quantify that in terms of sales,
I was just about to ask.
I don't know. That's what sales managers do.
Mhm.
But I know it's a problem.
You're the design side, not the number side. The 5%, that's a
It's
little.
not bad. It's not bad.
It's not bad, but you
not
always want
perfect.
less rejection.
Yeah, you want perfection.
Yeah, so what do you think is causing that plastic to split? And what are you changing to make that a little better?
It's when you over fasten
Mm-hmm.
the bolts, but that's an automated process. So we have the machine fasten the bolts down, and it's not the same torque every time. So
Mhm.
having a plastic that can withstand higher tolerances of torque would be advantageous, but of course it costs more. So I think right now we're trying to figure out ways to cut some labor costs.
Okay, yeah, so you mentioned that it's gonna split. How much time do you have to spend when that product does split and you have to come back, redesign it, make another one of these? How much time does that take out of your life?
Oh, it takes a lot of time. So,
Mm-hmm. Could you quantify that for me?
This is my life.
This is your life.
I live there.
All right, well,
I live there.
I mean, I think as a design engineer, you would much rather spend your time, innovating, creating new designs rather than fixing an old one, correct?
I agree with that. Yeah,
All right.
Sure.
So you definitely want to save time
Mhm.
from reworking old designs.
Sure, correct.
Okay. So are there any other errors in your trial and error process that you have faced?
I won't say errors. I think one of the improvements we're trying to make is trying to cut some labor costs.
Labor costs?
Yeah, trying to find ways from an engineering standpoint to make our units one piece,
Mm-hmm.
opposed to having a number of components make one unit.
Yeah.
We're trying to find ways to make it a unibody construction, so you don't have the need to fasten things. It's just all one piece.
Okay, and what would that include? Would that include, I see here you use 3 different materials. Would that be getting rid of one of them, adding another?
Mm-hmm. Well, so if you look at the body of this machine, if you look at the body of it, we like to get rid of all the welds and just have it molded essentially in one unit. That would be ideal.
Is that more of a visual or just a?
So it's a concept for you to understand.
It's a concept, so.
And that would help us lower labor costs as well, because we would not have to fasten as many product services together.
All right. Complete product to lower labor costs.
Similar to how cars are built these days.
Mm-hmm.
Cars of yesteryear were built on a frame, so it was two frames, running frames, the length of the car, and the car sat on top of those frames. In today's manufacturing process, a car is holistic. It is one piece, one big unit.
Okay.
And so that same concept will be true for what we're trying to do long term.
Mm-hmm. All right. So definitely you want to make the production easier to reduce that labor cost. Do you know about that number of the labor cost you could save? I know you're the design engineer.
You're talking outside.
That's an Alex question.
Right.
Great. So you mentioned the Amazon Echo with the innovation. Are there any other innovative steps you're looking to take?
I mean, there's a few things that not as far out, that don't stick out in my mind as much as the one I just shared with you.
Okay, great. So we have, from what I've gathered from this conversation, you want to be able to have your machine have that high tolerance of torque and be able to not break and save you that time from that 5% reject. You want to be making new designs. And also, you want it to be a more compact product, less pieces, and to save that labor cost, correct?
Yeah, it's not a matter of compact. The size of the unit is fine. It's a function of it being made of one piece of material.
All right.
Opposed to different types of materials.
Okay. One material. Great to hear. So if I could show you a product that could help you with these two needs, would you be interested in hearing more about it?
Sure.
All right. Well, the product I brought today is called 3N VHB tape. Have you heard of it?
I've had colleagues that have talked about it.
Talked about it? Well, VHB stands for very high bond. Okay. So I know tape can be a little concerning because you think of Scotch tape, but it's actually made to replace rivets and screws. And according to this, you do use screws in your designs. Sure. So I want you to go ahead and peel that one off and see if you could stick those two together.
Got it.
Yeah, and do you see how it's instantly bonding? Mm-hmm. So something really cool about this tape is that instead of having one pressure point with the screw, that's all the pressure is on that one joint, sure. It spreads the weight of the bond across the entire length. Sure. So it's not going to be splitting and breaking, and it's going to reduce that 5% reject rate down to maybe hopefully a 1 or ideally a 0. It's actually a really cool product, and you mentioned saving time. You see it takes maybe 15 seconds to do a whole yard. That took just a few. So do you see how using this tape could help save you those time, both in labor costs as well as not having it break as much?
Sure, sure. Yeah, it's very fast.
Very fast, correct. I already have it out. So this is actually a really, really fun product. So you look like you work out. Could you go ahead and try and pull those apart for me?
This is the same tape?
This is the tape. Those two little welds are put together with the tape.
Yeah, it's very strong.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're only humans, but I actually have this video I would love to email to you where 2 semi-trucks were trying to pull it apart and they couldn't do that. And I don't know about you, but I think semi-trucks are a little bit tougher than us humans. Correct. Yeah, so
very strong.
You said you wanted to make it one piece, one material. So you see how it can bond 2 dissimilar materials with this first one, plastic and stainless steel. It also works the same with 2 stainless steels.
Sure.
3M offers a lab that I would love to set up a time for you to come and test to see, what materials work best for you and what you would like to implement in your design. Yeah, so do you recognize how 3M can help you in the design process, saving those labor costs, and you can really be flexible in your designs?
Sure. Yeah, I like to also explore an option with your competitor, Bow?
Bo? Yeah, Bo.
Bo? Yeah. I mean, can you share any information as to how you guys rank and stack against your competition?
Could you tell me a little bit about what exactly you're looking for? I
mean, just general information that you can volunteer about your competition.
Yeah, well, Bo is a great company, and they do offer a similar product. But the difference in my eyes between Bo and 3M is that we offer amazing consulting services, and we are going to be a complete partner for you. Okay. So I mentioned the lab earlier. We have customer service if you need it, marketing if you need it, and I would love to meet with you again, or maybe Alex or whoever's higher up, to see what other services 3M could offer you. Gotcha. Yeah, do you feel comfortable moving forward?
Sure.
Yeah.
One of the questions that hits my mind, they asked me to ask you this. Of course, that's just how it goes. In terms of training on tape, I didn't know how that might have meant something, but it's something I need to.
Yeah, has training ever been an issue for you before?
Well, anytime we bring a vendor in, it's important that they provide some level of training so we can move forward and not be reliant upon any other vendor or third party. Yeah,
of course. Well, 3M, I did mention all the lab services, and we would provide training. But at the end of the day, it is tape, and you saw how easy it was to do that.
Sure, in this application I did, but just in terms of the smell, the hazardness, and those things, they definitely, it was on the menu of things.
The menu of things? Yeah. Well, I definitely know that in comparison to liquid adhesive, it has some odors that aren't super pleasant. This, I mean, I don't know if you smelled anything, but I sure didn't.
I did not.
Yeah, so it's definitely, in my opinion, a more effective way to bond than liquid adhesive. Sure. Feel comfortable moving on?
I feel good.
All right, so we've discussed how some of your needs could be met with 3M. Do you agree with that?
Sure.
All right, so would you be interested in setting up a meeting with Alex?
Yeah, I definitely need to let Alex know what's going on in today's conversation.
Yeah,
Sure.
does next week, Wednesday afternoon work?
I feel good about it. So
Mhm.
as far as my schedule is concerned, yes, but I need to check with Alex and then we can follow up with you.
Okay, could I follow up with a phone call tomorrow just to see?
Sure.
All right, well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Dana. It was
Absolutely.
lovely to meet
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Awesome. Good job.
I just left.